Hi everyone, I'm Miss Gale, one of the 9 maths teachers here at Royds Hall this year. So year 11, you're going to sit your GCSE maths this year. So I'm just going to run through what to expect and how we can and you can support yourselves at home to achieve the grade that you would like to achieve. So first things first, it's important to know which examination body you'll be sitting your GCSE maths with. We do use Edexcel, so when you're on websites, when you're looking for revision guides, make sure you are looking for ones that are specific to GCSE maths with Edexcel. You might see AQA and OCR in other subjects, okay, but that doesn't apply to us here. You'll sit 3 papers in the summer. Paper 1 will be non-calculator. Papers 2 and 3 will both be calculator papers. So for 2/3 of your maths GCSE, you'll be able to use a calculator. With that in mind then, we do recommend, if you haven't already, that you do go out and grab yourself your own scientific calculator. If you can, in lessons, be using your own calculator and get used to it, familiarise yourself with all the functions on that calculator, it will just make your life a little bit easier in the exam. I'd hate for you to be practicing with one type of calculator in lesson and then the exams invigilators borrow you a different kind in the actual exam, okay? Little things like the fraction button here and the S to D button, which changes between fraction and decimal answers, they are all completely different on different calculators. So like I say, it's really important that you familiarise yourself with just one type. Going back to the papers then, each 3 papers are equal weighted. No paper is worth more than the other. They all are worth 80 marks, okay? So there's 240 marks available altogether. And for each paper, you get 1 hour and 30 minutes. So just over a minute per mark, okay? And that's exactly the same for higher paper and foundation. We do follow the grade 1 to 9 specification. So you can achieve anything from a grade 1 up to a 9. That will all depend on the paper that you are sitting. That will have already been chosen for you by the maths team, okay? Grade 4 is a pass. Grade 5 is a strong pass. Both of those are achievable on the higher and the foundation papers. A foundation paper goes from grade 1 up to a grade 5. And if you sit a higher paper, you can achieve grades 4 up to a grade 9. Some revision guides then. So we sell these ones in school. There are others available. Just remember that you do look to make sure it's tailored to the Edexcel specification. We do sell them cheaper in school than most places. These are £3 each. So there's a revision guide and a revision workbook. These ones that are on screen are for the higher specification, but we do also sell the foundation specification ones in school as well. So they're £3 each and you can purchase those through Parent Pay. Some useful websites then. There are lots of useful free websites for maths, which is great. If you speak to your teacher, they might have some specific ones that will be good for you and your class. These are 2 that, as a maths department, we feel cater for everybody's needs. So the first one, Hegarty Maths, I'll talk about in a second. The second one, Corbett Maths, it looks like this. I'm going to show you the website in a second. There are a few features on here. There's some videos and worksheets. I do think the videos on Hegarty Maths are better though, which is why I'll show you in a second. And I'm going to run through the feature on Corbett Maths, which I think is brilliant, which is the 5-a-day feature. So the 5-a-day feature then, make sure you click on 5-a-day GCSE 9 to 1. As like I said, that's a specification that we're now following and have been doing for a few years now. What the 5-a-day does then is it generates 5 random questions from any topics that can appear on your GCSE paper. It might be something that you've not seen for ages. It might be something you've done recently. It builds together that recall and that repetition of topics, okay? They are often exam style questions as well. So sometimes they're a little bit problem solving, which is great. Sometimes it's just a little bit of recall on the skill. For you to know which ones you should be doing then, there's a little bit of guidance up at the top. So if you're aiming for a grade 4, you would be looking at the foundation and the foundation plus ones, okay? There are one worksheet for every day of the year, okay? So this runs from January the 1st all the way down to December the 31st, okay? There's one for every day of the year. So what we would recommend that you do is just do one per day, like it says, okay? Don't do any more, okay? The idea is that it's short, sharp bursts. So let's say it's the 1st of October, you would click on foundation if that's the one that suits you, and it will bring you up with 5 questions, okay? What's great about this as well is if you scroll down, it also has the answers. So if I click on October the 1st again, foundation, it will give me the answers, and often it shows you the working out. This then gives you instant feedback, so you can see straight away, have I got it right? Have I got it wrong? I've got it wrong. Let me have a look at their working out. Yes, I can see I've made a silly mistake. Or actually, no, I don't get that. I'm going to speak to my teacher about this because I still don't understand where that answer comes from. Okay, so that's Corbett Maths 5 a day, which is great. The other one I'm going to talk you through is Hegarty Maths. Now, this is fantastic resource. It's really, really good, as long as we get everybody on board. So parents, you won't be able to have your own login, but you can ask your child to log in and you're able to see what they're up to, what revision they're doing, which is also a really powerful tool. So when your child logs in, this is what their homepage will look like. Hopefully after a few weeks, these hours will go up. Okay, so it shows you how long they've spent doing skills, how long they've spent on memory, how long they've spent on fix up 5s. I'll explain what both of those are in a second. How long they've spent learning altogether, how many questions they've answered, and how many questions they've answered correctly. This donut up the side shows how many skills they've attempted so far and what scores they've got. So Hegarty has 925 skills on there. It's one of the broadest maths programs out there with the number of skills it's got on there. It's brilliant. This will start to fill up with colours as your child does more tasks. So if they get 100%, a segment of it will turn green, etc., etc. So what it will look like then is when your child logs on, if they've been set a task by a teacher, that will appear up here. So this child's been set 2 tasks. When they click on it, the tasks will appear here. It will tell them when it's due, what task it is. They'll click on to do the task. It will bring them up with a video. We always recommend to watch the video first and make notes of key examples to help them, so they've got them to refer back to. They'll then do the quiz. If they're struggling, below there are building blocks. So these are the skills which come before the skill that's being tested. So they could go in and have a go at these before doing this one if they're struggling. Once they're on the quiz, there's a few features to help. If they're doing Hegarty Maths on their phone or their iPad, they can click the on-screen keypad, so that they've got access to the numbers, access to some of the buttons such as square roots, fractions, etc. If your child's struggling, they can click the Get Help button. What that will do is it will take your child to the part of the video which explains exactly how to do this question. So it will often skip, as you can see, this one skipped the first 26 seconds, so they don't have to watch through all the video again. They'll be able to put in 2 answers. If they get it wrong the first time, it will just bring up a reminder to remind them, do they need to get help? The second time, it will give them the correct answer and also ask if they want to leave a comment to their class teacher. We'll then get a notification on our screen that will tell us that we need to get back to one of our students. So that's how they access work that's been set by a class teacher. But what's really important is that they're independent and they are starting to revise for their maths GCSE now. So what we recommend is that they're going on here. They can either search for topics they know they need to revise. So for example, angles on a straight line. It will just bring them up again with a video and a quiz to do. So they don't need to be set a quiz to be able to have a go at it. They would again click on do quiz and answer the questions in the same way that they would before. A good feature is that you can sort of use Hegarty as a bit of a revision check sheet. So by clicking on choose lesson, it brings up all the different areas of maths. So let's say your child wanted to start from the top, start revising some number. They could click on number. Let's go place value. And then they can use this as a bit of a tick sheet, because as your child does each task, these will turn green. So they'll be able to see which ones they've done, which ones they haven't done. Okay. And then they can say, right, okay, next time these two are green. So the next one I want to revise is multiplying by powers of 10, for example. Where Hegarty Maths is brilliant and stands out ahead of lots of the other websites is this revise button here. So we've got Fix Up 5 and Memory. Fix Up 5, when your child clicks into that, it will bring up 5 questions based on topics they've previously got wrong from tasks that they've completed. So it will be 5 random topics from previous tasks. They might not all be on the same topic. Okay, so you might have one number, one algebra, one ratio, etc. The idea behind that is to plug the gaps. Okay, get them to practice something they've struggled on to try and see if they can do it again. Memory does the opposite of that. The point of memory is to stop your child losing skills that they've previously gained. So memory will bring up a bank of questions based on topics your child has previously got correct. The idea behind that being get them to keep practicing skills they can do so that they don't forget, they don't lose how to do that skill. The final thing I'm going to show you, which is a great tool for you as parents, carers, etc., is the My Scores section. So I'm just going to flick back to the PowerPoint for an example of this. So the My Scores section, when you click on that, it will look like this. So this student, we can see last did a task on substitution and they scored 86%. I can see here that they haven't watched the video. I can see that they've spent 3 minutes on the task. They haven't left a comment to the teacher and they haven't yet received any feedback. Okay. Where this is good for you as a parent is you could get them to log in. You'll be able to see, right, the last time you completed a task was the 8th of September. Let's get on and do another task. Or I can see that you've got 0% on this video, but actually you've not watched the example video to help and you've only spent 3 minutes on the task. Let's go back. Let's do that properly. I hope that's been really helpful. If you've got any questions, please get your kids to ask their maths teachers and we'll get back to them as soon as we can.